now.
No, oh my God, we do that every week. Hello, Fiona. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good morning, Adair.
Welcome to the show with no name. This is a show that was dreamed up by Fiona and myself to help people in the local community to raise their profile and encourage awareness and support for what matters to you and your community. So we help not-for-profits, charities, service clubs to connect with communities to raise brand awareness and help staff and volunteers working with them to become the best brand champions, hashtag brand champions they can be for their cause. And we are today, I'll kick it over to you, Fiona. You can say we're really excited about who we've got on today.
Yeah, so we have we've got a special person on today who's here all the way from the UK. And, I'll just acknowledge some people we've got here. So our guest knows is not just talking to thin air here. We've got Jenny here. Hi, Jezza. Thanks for joining us.
Hi,
and and
Sonia. C from Garden Gypsy. Good to see you. C.
and Kate, wrong show, but stay tuned because you'll love what you're about to hear. So we've had the pleasure of Steve's company on the show before where we talked about some amazing things he's doing to raise awareness and funds for Neuroblastoma Australia. So he's a veteran of all things running. Steve also rides a bike, which is how he came to the attention of Australians. So in 2013, at the age of 60 and armed with just a folding bike and a bus pass, Steve started cycling backwards and forwards to his work on his folding bike to raise money and awareness for kids diagnosed with high-risk stage 4 neuroblastoma in the UK. 5 years later, Steve came to Australia to ride from Brisbane to Adelaide for Neuroblastoma Australia. Now, this will get you excited. So it was 22,222 kilometers. Sorry, 2,222 kilometers. May as well be 22,000.
I bet it felt like that.
So, which he duly knocked off in, how long do you think it took him to do that?
22 days.
15.
What?
15 days. Now, I've just brought, can you see Steve? I can see a black screen.
I can see Steve. Yes. Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm fine, yeah. It's hammering down with rain.
Can you hear Steve?
Yes, I can hear Steve and I can see
I can't hear Steve, so well, I'm going to refresh. I'm going to refresh in case it's me. You two continue to talk.
Steve,
big truck going past. So there we go. That's excitement.
So you're in Adelaide in winter. That's a really good time to pop down under. How long have you been in South Australia for, Steve?
I arrived on Saturday. 30-hour flight from the UK. Picked up a hire car, drove to Wagga, and did a school visit in Wagga, and then drove back to Adelaide. Got into Adelaide late yesterday afternoon. Met up with my support man, who's holding the camera, Paul.
Hello, Paul. We've seen you behind the scenes there.
Yeah, we had a couple of sherbets last night, and we're off to Roo Island this morning.
Roo Island. So what's the attraction about Roo Island? And I just want to shout out to Rachel, Rachel Island. How are you, Rachel?
I've never been to Roo Island, and people say it's one of the best bits of the whole of Oz. So while I'm here, let's go and do a walkabout.
I've never been to Roo Island, and I live here.
I've been to Roo Island, and if you think it's cold and rainy here, wait till you get to Roo Island. And for people who aren't in Adelaide, and this is like the local lingo, even though it's the first time I've heard it said Roo Island, we actually call it KI, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll adopt the new moniker for it, and it is actually Kangaroo Island for those of you who are new to this terminology in South Australia. If you're joining us from not in South Australia, you may be wondering what the hell or where the hell Roo Island is. So.
And so thanks for, understanding with my little technical glitch there. I couldn't hear a thing before. Now, I'm excited. So we heard earlier can you hear me, Steve? You're pulling faces at me. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So we heard earlier, obviously, in the intro with the amazing things you've been doing and what you got up to last time you were in Australia. Now, that walk from the East Coast to Adelaide didn't scare you away. You've come back for more. Tell us a little about what you're here to do this time. Or have you already done that while I was dropped out?
Well, if we roll it back to the finish in Adelaide last September, went home and wrote a book about the whole 5 years. And the first half of that book was about the UK journey, the sort of 45,000 kilometres in the UK, supporting solving kids' cancer. And the second half of the book was all about Ride to Cure across Australia. And there was a chapter for each of the stages of Ride to Cure. But we stayed over in Wagga on the rest day. And so although Wagga wasn't a stage in its own right, I was invited to go to Wagga Public School and talk to the kids. And how many, Paul? About 400 kids, all sat cross-legged, you know, intently listening in the assembly hall. And as luck would have it, well, ill luck, I guess you would say, would have it, there is a wee girl called Isabella at Wagga Public School who had cancer when she was 3. And when we were there in September, she was 7, and she'd been cancer free for just over 3 years. So Win News, Riverina, they came and filmed that whole event and put it out on the 6 o'clock news. So that got a bit of attraction, both to Ride to Cure on a wider scale and to Wagga Public School and to wee Isabella. So when I got home, I'd written the book, and Jane, my wife, she said, "So what are you going to do now?" And to be honest, I didn't feel that there was any drive in me to keep riding this bike forever. So I sat on my backside for 3 months, and then just before Christmas, I thought, I'm going to start walking. And it's cheaper. So on January the 1st, at 1:45 a.m., no, 0:45 a.m., 1:45, I went out and walked 10K. I met a few drunks along the way, as you do, at that time of the morning. And so I thought, okay, well, Ride to Cure was 222K. I'm going to try and walk 222 miles in this calendar year. And that works out at 10K every day. And that is like, oh, is that actually doable? Is that a thing? Can you walk 10K every day? Because if you miss a day, then you've got to make that up on another day.
Mm.
But the opposite is also true. So if you get into the habit of overwalking days, then you can build up some street cred for the days like today, when we're not going to get an awful lot done if we just walk to the pub. So,
the pub's always good. Well, there are pubs everywhere here, so at least you don't have to walk too far to get to one. Yeah. And then the more you drink, you know, the more, you know, the less you care about how wet you're going to get to the next one.
Well, interestingly enough, alcohol is the body's #1 fuel source. Not a lot of people know that. People think it's carbohydrate, but it's not. Carb is only #2. Alcohol is #1. So if you've gone out and had a few, right, if you do go for a long walk and don't fall into the sea or something, then that's the way of not getting a hangover. But anyway, going back to the story, right, of Wagga, my wife said in fact, she came into I was watching football. She came into the football lounge in December, and she sat herself down. She said, "There's something I want to say to you." And I thought, oh, this doesn't sound good. I have clearly done something not right, and I'm in the doghouse. She said, "Look, I know you want to go back to Australia, and you're still working. You should have retired by now. You're still working. You're still bringing in money." And she said, "You know what that pension man said about doing things before you get to 75? You've just got to do them. So I think you should go back next year." So, you know, within an hour I was booked. And
oh wow.
And then I thought, well, what am I going to do when I'm there? It's all well and good saying I'm going to go, but I actually didn't have an event or anything to come over for. So then all of that had to be, you know, manufactured on the fly. So I wrote back to Wagga School and I said, look, I'm coming back in May to Australia. Can I come back to the school and tell the kids what's happened since? Because there have been so many developments. And that's why I drove to Wagga. And I was there on Monday. And Win News were there again. They came out with their camera crew, and it was on the news again on Monday night. And there were two brilliant bits about Monday. First of all, I said to the kids straight up, who didn't see the Win News article when I was here the last time? And like 90% of the hands shot up. I said, well, in that case, we've got it all set up for you and it's on the big screen. So they got to see themselves, you know, from last September.
Yeah.
And that really,
see, like here's one we prepared earlier.
yeah, basically, yeah. So they were really high. Well, they were already high, but they were even higher when they'd seen themselves. And of course, that one was being filmed as well. But Isabella is now 4 years in remission, and she's an absolute wee star. And Mrs. Stewart, who took Isabella's 2S class last year, she's taking this year's 2S, and Isabella is now in 3S. So those two classes, at the end of the main event, they were invited to stay behind, and we were going to go out onto the front lawn just for an informal chat about Isabella's condition and how she's handled it all and stuff. And she brought in a load of photographs and bits and pieces. And we got out there, and she was so fantastic. She just held court with about 20 kids and told her story, you know, about when she'd lost her hair and when she was hooked up with tubes, and she has all the photos. But my favourite part of that afternoon was just when we were preparing to go out. And are we stopping somebody getting in a drive here? Don't know. They'll come and ask. So Mrs. Stewart said, where's Isabella? We seem to have lost Isabella. And the other teacher said, oh, Isabella's in the playground doing a TV interview. She's 8. No, I've lost focus.
I'll unmute myself there for now. I'll just bring Adair up while we bring Steve back in. I'm not sure what's happened there. He's lost focus. I'll just bring Adair in. So, Adair, you were asking me what was happening, but I could still see that Steve was there.
Okay. And now
what?
he's on?
No, he'll be back. I can see him down the lobby. I'll bring him back in.
Oh, okay.
So just on the story so far. So this girl, so she's in grade 3 at school now, dealing with something so incredibly horrifying, but living her life, you know, as much as a grade 3 person can. And I think it's incredible what you've helped them do to help the community know what not only her, but her family are going through. Because when someone's suffering with an illness, everyone in the community suffers with them in some way, shape or form.
Well, the big thing for me was that before I went to Wagga School the first time, I think that Isabella had been reluctant to talk about what had happened to her. And the fact that I was there and was involved with kids' cancer support kind of gave her the confidence, to come out of that shell. And now, 8 or 9 months on, she's even more out front and just proud of where she's come from and what she's achieved. And I saw that difference, between the two visits.
Yeah,
it's great for her, and it's great for the other kids to be able to see the progress that she's making.
Well, this man's come all the way from the UK. She's never met him before, and you obviously had an impact. when someone's trying to do something to make a difference that impacts you, I guess it gives you that feeling of, you know, this person really cares about me and what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And so you obviously had an impact on her life.
Yeah, yeah.
As has she on yours, I have no doubt.
Well, I said privately to the class teacher after we'd finished talking to the kids, you know, that Isabella currently is on the lucky side of the fence, but it isn't always like that. You know, I've done 3 kids' funerals in the last 18 months, and they are the worst. Kids' funerals are the worst kind of funerals. And I did ask you right at the start if this was May the 9th, and you said it was. Okay, so you'll be aware that I supported Wee Ailey in the UK, Ailey's journey, and then Amelie, as Frank Loves Joan in Adelaide, she wrote the song Puddles for Ailey. And today, May the 9th, 2019, is 5 years to the day since Ailey was diagnosed. She was 2. And this brings the whole thing back to why Ride to Cure had a 2 in the middle of it, because 2 is the most common age of diagnosis.
Wow.
And sadly, you know, Ailey didn't make it. So at the moment for Isabella, it's looking quite positive, and every extra year is good. But there's always the realization that things can change.
Mm. Yeah, and in an instant we don't know what's around the corner, do we?
No. Now, you know, let's talk positive again and raise our spirits, because this is Thursday. And next Thursday, I've got permission to walk around the Adelaide Oval 22 times.
That's so, yeah, I saw that you had arranged that. Yeah. That is absolutely incredible. Well, and I'm not going to be there. I'm a bit disappointed about that. I might have to see if Adair can go and fly the flag for me.
Yeah, well,
what time are you doing that?
9:30.
2 o'clock. Oh.
No, 9:30 in the morning. It's 9:30 next Thursday morning. You'll just have to do the show live from the Adelaide Oval.
That's you know what? I'm actually thinking that we probably could, if we.
I'll be flying. I'll be in a plane.
we'll let you off.
Off the plane from 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's not such a bad idea, and it's not impossible. So just watch this space, and we'll talk after the show, because we may be able to get out there. And if you're starting at 9:30,
and talking out loud, I might have internet in the air. I might still be able to do it.
Mm. Oh, no good will come of that.
Anyway,
we can do like a telethon thing for you.
I come from a background of if you don't ask, you don't get.
Absolutely.
And they're likely not going to say no, but they might say yes. So about 3 weeks ago, I emailed the Oval. I laid it on thick about Ride to Cure. Bloke never been to Oz before, blah, blah, blah. I did the tour. We did the tour, didn't we, Paul?
We did the tour.
We did the tour at Howlway.
Wow.
And so they said, yeah, you can do it, 22 laps. And I may have a special guest doing it with me.
Oh, interesting. So now I'm also
done a bit of walking.
Have you found much shrapnel on your trek so far since you've landed in Australia? So Steve's thing. So part of raising money for Neuroblastoma Australia on his walks, and quite often you're walking, you'll find 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever on the side of the road. Steve picks it up and puts it in his tin for Neuroblastoma Australia. Yeah. And you find some random stuff on those treks as well. When you're looking, when you're not looking, you just walk past all this stuff, but you do find some pretty cool stuff.
$2.20 is what I've got so far. Saturday.
Well, that's significant.
We can get some people to run in front of you around the Oval, throwing coins, perhaps. Would that work?
Don't they do that anyway?
It's usually beer cans, but you can cash them in. So I'm just thinking, while you're here in South Australia, all that beer you're drinking, recycle them and get the money from your cans and your bottles.
Well, we've got 24 cans in the back of the car. Do we get
money back?
Yeah, on your empties. Recycle your empties and get the money back from them. Take them to a recycling depot, get your money back, and you can put that in. I'll let you know off air. There's recycling depots around the place. I'll let you know.
Right, you can message me.
Yeah, I'll let you know what's closest.
Why don't we do something like that? Why don't we get people to just cash in their cans and then give you the money?
Good idea. Yeah, good idea.
Who's up for that? Anyone watching? If you want to share the love, and if you know people who would are likely to have a few beer cans floating around the backyard, not that we have.
Drinking beer will help you cure neuroblastoma. Is that how it works?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Any soft drinks, any recyclable that you get cash for, if you would like to think about it, because that's a great way. If you say, well, I'm a bit short of cash at the moment to donate, maybe just ping Theone or myself, or hit like My Time TV, the inbox here, and just say that that's something that you'd like to do, and we'll follow up with you and help you do that.
Yeah. So when you're doing the walk around Adelaide Oval, are you looking for people to line the oval? Like, what's the vision?
Well, I don't really have a vision apart from I wanted to walk around Adelaide Oval as a tourist. Paul and I were there last year, and I thought this is such an awesome place, and it's got such history. For me, being a cricket fan. And just being able to, they said I can't go on the turf. I've got to go around the Astro at the edge, but it's still the boundary. And I'll pretend to be Phil Tufnell at one point, and just very slowly lean down to pick up a ball and miss it. And I'm
laughing. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm laughing.
He's an English bowler that can't field. Well, he's retired now. Smokes like a chimney. Another interesting angle on all of this is that I am continuing to support Neuroblastoma Australia. So the royalties from the Ride to Cure book, they go to Neuroblastoma Australia and hence onto the Kids Cancer Institute in Sydney. But I'm not alone. There are about another 9 or 10 people, most of them in the UK, that are also walking, and they are supporting Solving Kids Cancer in the UK, which is kind of a sister organisation. And Lucy Jones, who is the president of Neuroblastoma Australia, she used to work for Solving Kids Cancer in London. So there's a link, a personal link between the two. And my boy, actually two of my boys, my eldest two, they play for a football team, an amateur team back in the UK, Irvine Meadow. And I've taken out a shirt sponsorship with Irvine Meadow for the next 2 seasons. And they're going to have Walk to Cure Neuroblastoma on the back of their shirts. And I thought to myself, let's take the awareness out into the community, into the small towns where, they play in these small stadiums with, I don't know, maybe 100 people will turn up and watch, and a couple of dogs. And people are going to go, what's that thing that they've got on that shirt? What's that Solving Kids Cancer? And they'll go on the website and they'll see the story about stage 4 neuroblastoma, and hopefully they'll chuck some money in the pot. That's my idea, and I've got that sponsorship for the next 2 years.
And if they don't know, they can't, can they? That's something that's brilliant.
Absolutely. Awareness starts somewhere. It has. Now, I'm just thinking about next week. We'll have a chat offline. We'll create an event or something so that we can invite people and people know that you're there and doing what you're doing. Now, do you have news crew or anything like that? Have you been trying to get in contact with anyone to get some media attention?
Neuroblastoma Australia's magnificent PR girl, Deanna. She stays in Sydney, but she was absolutely brilliant all the way through Ride to Cure. Deanna sent me the links, the email addresses and links to all the news channels in Adelaide. So I've emailed them all. They've all received notification that I'm going to be there next Thursday at 9:30. I've not yet had a reply from any of them.
Oh, well, I'm not quite sure how we could get in there, but if we could wangle it, we could take our little setup and we could actually just do a little pre. I think that would work if we could actually do that, because we're looking to actually get out from behind, behind our set, and that would be an ideal follow-up to keep the momentum going. So let's talk about that off air, because there's also I think there's huge opportunities, and we could do that. The other thing I was going to mention was we've got people here from Perth, Rachel, hello, and Louise from Canada. So and you've already said hi to Karen, but I would like to say, if you are watching this, we're about to wind up, but if you have got friends or people in South Australia who support amazing causes, or have people or children particularly that are affected by neuroblastoma, or would you if you're just looking for someone to support who is doing amazing things to help the community, Steve's your guy, and we will be sharing, I'm assuming we've got this sorted, how we can actually get some more cash into your pocket from people who are watching. So please make sure that people who need to see this, see it.
Walk to Cure is on Neuroblastoma's website as an event, and the donate button is on there.
So we'll make sure that that's in the link above.
Yeah. Now, one final thing before we wrap this up. I'm meeting up with a local Adelaide lass next Wednesday for a wee chat, and she also is involved with kids with long-term health conditions.
Does her name start with an A?
It does, yeah.
Is she the one walking with you on Tuesday? Or you're not going to tell me? On Thursday, sorry?
She is not.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I did ask her.
Oh, not Adele. No. Anna Mears. So Anna Mears is a very, 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 well, she's an incredible woman in her own right, but she's also been a supporter of Steve and what he's doing. For anyone who doesn't know who Anna Mears is, look her up and get to know her.
Yeah. Anna Mears she's certainly been aware of what used to be life cycle for neuroblastoma. That's how it started out. Yeah. She's been aware of that for 5 years, ever since she held the flag in the velodrome. She held the flag in the velodrome with the person that is potentially walking with me next Thursday. How big a hint is that? I'll
have to go back and look at who that was. But that's okay.
Look at all the pictures. So Anna was on one end of the flag, and the mystery walker was on the other end of the flag.
She's going to be like a hound dog with this. She's going to hunt it down.
No, do you know what I'll do? I'll ask my husband, because Jerry is one of those people who ask him anything that he needs to know and he won't be able to give you the answer, but ask him something completely random and he's got the answer like that. He's the guy you need at your table at quiz nights.
Well, in that case, you can ask him who's in the Champions League final. And he'll say Liverpool.
Say Liverpool because I've seen it all over Facebook. Adair will say, what's the Champions League?
Okay, what?
It's a competition for teams that have not won their championship.
Yeah. So, look, we are out of time, but I do want to thank you so much for your time. And thank you again, Paul. I do want to acknowledge you being there behind the scenes. You know, every good man needs his cameraman and his roadie, and you've certainly got that there in spades helping us out today. So,
just remember, if you are looking, we just came up with this crazy idea. If you want to cash in some cans and you need to, you want to donate, Please let us know if you need any help to get them to recycling centres or anything like that. We will organise that, and we will be donate whatever comes from the cans to the Neuroblastoma Walk. And the link will be above here.
So it's Walk2Cure. Now, in the link above also is Steve's got a Facebook group. It is Walk2Cure Neuroblastoma. It is linked in the blurb above. So visit the group, join the group, and the group is a public group, so you can share posts out of that group to your community as well. And
it's a 2 in Walk2Cure, not the
Yes, it's a number 2. Yes, I've tagged it above.
Yeah, and if people buy the Ride to Cure book on Amazon, that money goes to Neuroblastoma Australia as well.
Beautiful.
And it's only $1.99. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee.
I have my copy. Get yours too.
I think we should all just the link. Click on the link and download your book. So awesome.
Alrighty. Now, don't go anywhere, Steve. Don't go anywhere, Steve. Thank you so much for joining us. We will chat off air and tease some stuff to help you out with next Thursday. Even though I can't be there physically, doesn't mean I can't do something to help you make a difference as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be with you in a moment.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm in awe of Steve. This guy from the UK coming here doing things to make a real difference. Like who does that?
Who does?
Most people think Steve does that. Think outside the box. And I like what he said before about when he contacted Adelaide Oval about wanting to do the walk. If you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't ask, the answer's always going to be no. But if you do ask, it might be yes.
You might be pleasantly surprised. So we will see what we can cook up for next week while Fiona's in the air. How much trouble can we get up to?
Well, I'm wondering most flights have internet these days. So if I'm in the air and I've got internet, you'll still be able to bring me in.
We'll see how it goes. Exciting.
Yeah, I'll just have to keep Dad quiet sitting next to me. So yes. So thank you, Steve, again, and thank you, Paul, for helping us make today's interview happen. So join the group. Link is up above. Walk2Cure Neuroblastoma. Join the group, follow the journey, and if you want to help in any way, shape, or form, if you've got cans that you can trade in for cash, let us know. We'll help you make that happen. So anywhere in South Australia.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. Welcome. Well, I was going to say welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
We're right down the end, aren't we? I'm just blown away by all this. What an amazing show. We will see you next Thursday in some way, shape, or form at 9:30 a.m. On mytimetv.live for the show with no name.
Bye for now.
Bye.